Oh god, that's a way to start off a video, isn't it? I have really crazy hair today because I just woke up and totally forgot to comb it while I was upstairs, but who cares? So today we are going to be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I went to see in theaters Friday night. And I don't know, sometimes I have a hard time thinking about what I want to say about the movie right afterwards, but I think I finally got my thoughts together now on what I'm going to talk about during this review. So we'll go over the casting list because there are a couple new voices in this movie. Obviously, as we know, Tails and Knuckles are making appearances in this movie. We saw Tails at the very tail end, no pun intended, of the very first movie. Seems that he is coming to save Sonic from whatever is inevitably coming back or coming to Earth to try to stop him or whatever they are after. We're not really sure. I mean, we do find out in this movie eventually, as it goes on, what Knuckles is after. Anyway, James Marsden plays Tom Wakoshi. Is that how you pronounce the last names? It's so hard to remember how you pronounce your last names. Jim Carrey obviously is back as Dr. Robotnik, which was really cool to see. Ben Schwartz, who voiced Sonic. Tika Sumpter, who was Maddie Wakoshi. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. Idris Elba, who voiced Knuckles. Natasha Rothwell, who I believe was Tika's sister, right, if I'm correct, who played Rachel. Adam Paley played Wade, who was supposed to be like the kind of, I guess, dumb cop in a sense. Shamar Moore played Randall. Lee Majdoub, I'm gonna say. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Played Agent Stone, and Colleen doesn't show. Shaughnessy was the voice of Tails. So I'm pretty sure Tails is supposed to be a boy, or at least that's how it was portrayed in the movie, I believe. Oh my god, it's been so long since I've seen Sonic. Is Tails supposed to be a girl or a boy? Kind of, I mean, that does happen in a lot of shows where because it's so young, just a female voice works better for a younger character, I suppose. But kind of the same with like One Piece, where Luffy was voiced by a woman. But I guess she just had that, like, as far as the English dubbed one goes, right? She just had that kind of perfect voice for that character, a little bit of rasp in it or whatever. So yeah, it just worked for that character, and I guess this voice kind of worked for that character. Sorry, my throat's really dry. So this movie starts off with Dr. Robotnik finally finding a way to get off of the mushroom planet, because obviously living off mushrooms your whole life would probably be painful, and he's trying to find a way to make coffee out of mushrooms, and to no success, that's for sure. So he is finally able to get off of it. Now, I don't know how he was able to create the portal, because I don't think he had any rings, if I'm remembering correctly. So he came up with a way to make a portal off of the planet all on his own, because he's just that smart. So then Knuckles comes through this portal and asks what planet they're on, and I guess he's going after this emerald, we find out, and I believe he wants to find Earth. So obviously Dr. Robotnik is going to show him the way, and he gets what he wants, and then Knuckles gets what he wants at the same time, is what I'm trying to say here. So when they go back to Earth, obviously Knuckles is Sonic's enemy at the very beginning of the movie, but as the movie goes along and Dr. Robotnik kind of shows his true colors and Sonic shows his, Knuckles kind of slowly changes his mind as to what side of things he wants to be on, and by the end of the movie, obviously, they're all against Dr. Robotnik. But there's a bunch of stuff that happens between there, obviously. So, Tails and Sonic are trying to get to the Emerald before Knuckles and Dr. Robotnik. And when Knuckles is first introduced to Sonic, he thinks that it's just going to be an easy takedown. Turns out Knuckles has, I think, probably is a little bit stronger than Sonic. Yeah, which kind of shows, especially when he does his like handshake and just seems to be able to crush everybody's hands, even Sonic. When he handshakes, he crushes his hands. So yeah, Knuckles has an insane amount of power. I don't really think we get to see the full potential of Knuckles' power in this movie, so I'm kind of interested to see. The third one has been announced, so I'm kind of interested to see where the third one is going to go and like how the fights in that one are going to go and who exactly they're going to be fighting, because at the very end of the movie, Dr. Robotnik has the power of the Emerald inside of him after he double crosses Knuckles, after they make it through the whole temple and all the booby traps and so on and so forth, and then Sonic ends up catching up with them. After telling Tails that he was going to protect him, and eventually almost got Tails killed in the process. So Sonic feels like he has to make this right on his own and take on Robotnik and Knuckles by himself, which doesn't end up working out for him because, yeah, obviously Robotnik gets the power of the jewel inside of him and becomes, I guess, one with the jewel for a little bit. Yeah, for some time, I guess. And then he's able to create his own, like, huge, just giant machine at the end of the movie. I remember it from I believe I remember it from one of the games way back in the day. The giant robot that he creates that, like, he moves inside of it, and whatever he does, it does, sort of thing. I think it might have been, like, a final boss in one of the games, if I'm remembering correctly. What's the Dr. Robotnik robot? Maybe. I'm going to have to go back and maybe watch some playthroughs of the games if they're on YouTube or something, because I think that would be really cool to watch. So anyway, obviously at this point in time, Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic are all teamed up, and they do eventually take down Dr. Robotnik after Sonic is able to harness the power of the jewel. And along the way, they do find this compass type thing. So there was, I believe there was 6 jewels, and I can't remember the name of the jewels. I wish I could, which ended up making this one giant emerald. And maybe it tells you. And obviously, just one thing I wanted to touch on was that Knuckles is an Echidna, so he was in fight with the owls, which was the, I guess, race that ended up raising Sonic. And Sonic's, I guess, kind of like parent figure was this one owl named Longclaw. And I guess on the same day that Sonic lost most of his people, Knuckles also lost his, I believe, his father. Yeah, it was his father, because his father wanted him to stay behind instead of going to the battle, even though Knuckles thought he was ready. His father told him next time, and I guess that was the last words that his father ever said to him. So, yeah, obviously both sides lost a lot that day, and I believe Knuckles is the last of his kind, if I'm remembering that correctly. So I guess when the jewels were created into this one emerald, which was supposed to give ultimate power to whatever being it was in the hands of, the owls eventually took it and hid it away in this temple. I guess it wasn't ever supposed to be found again, but then finally Dr. Robotnik got his hands on it, and then double crosses Knuckles and ended up creating his own thing. But then eventually Sonic is able to harness the power of it, and he turns don't know. I forgot that he could actually turn like a gold color, kind of similar to like the Super Saiyan power in Dragon Ball Z. I don't know why my brain just shut off there again. Yeah, so he's able to just speed through Dr. Robotnik's machine and bring it down completely. So that was a very cool ending action scene. And one of the scenes that I thought was really cool was when they went to Siberia and they end up getting stuck in this restaurant, and Tails is trying to translate through her through his machines and isn't actually able to, and ends up offending like the entire restaurant that they're in, and then they end up getting into this dance-off battle. So obviously there's still the humor in that, and Jim Carrey's humor in this movie is just absolutely fantastic. Even at the end when he's using like a I don't know how to describe it. When he's like connected with the jewel and his voice is changing and he's able to like move really quickly, and even his like movements inside of the machine, and obviously with the help of his sidekick there, Agent Stone. It's just funny, like the mustache slaps, like claps things, destroys things in midair. It's just, yeah, that whole machine was just absolutely like bonkers to see. Kind of reminded me of like Mecha Godzilla almost. Like that's what they were taking on basically in this movie, because it's just there's so much to it. So yeah, that was really cool. And eventually it is defeated, but then there's this little post-credit scene. And I don't know if there's an end credit scene because I didn't stick around. I can't imagine there was after that, because it seemed like that was just like the end. But obviously Dr. Robotnik can't be found, so I'm assuming Dr. Robotnik is going to be returning for the third movie. He's not cast yet, but I'm assuming that Jim Carrey is going to make a return. And then they find this old facility. I wish I could remember the name of it, but the thing that is inside of it is this Project Shadow. So it's kind of like a similar look to Sonic, but it's like black and red and white. So I'm interested to see. I don't remember that from the shows or games, so I'm going to have to go back and do a little bit of research as to what Project Shadow actually is. And one of the other storylines, obviously, that we wanted to touch on was Rachel's wedding. This whole entire time she thinks that Tom is going to end up being the one destroying it, when it ends up actually being her husband-to-be, Randall, who is somehow an undercover agent from the first movie, and I guess this guy from the first movie, Commander Walters, has been trying to catch Sonic this entire time. So he basically gets all of his agents to set up this whole fake wedding scenario, and that's the only way they could actually bring Sonic in, because Sonic needs saving, obviously, when he's in Siberia, traveling down the mountain from Dr. Robotnik, after Tom and, oh my god, why is her name? Maddie go on vacation to, I believe it was it not Mexico? I believe. No, that wasn't it, was it? Actually, it might have been. Anyway, after they're gone on vacation, things just totally go to hell in a handbasket, basically, within like a day and a half of them being gone, even though they're only supposed to be gone for like 48 hours for this wedding. So that was, yeah, pretty crazy that within 24 hours everything just turns around after Dr. Robotnik ends up coming back for the Mushroom Planet. So basically that's what they're trying to do, is send him back, but they to no avail in this movie, obviously. And yeah, she just goes ballistic at the end of the movie, or in that part of the movie after she finds out that most of this was fake. She doesn't think that Randall actually loves her, even though he begins to start to feel bad about, obviously, what he did. So, yeah, that was just another little point in the story I wanted to touch on, because obviously that was one of the more comedic parts in the movie, for sure. Yeah, so I am really looking forward to the third movie, because this movie was absolutely excellent, just like the first one, and I don't know why Jim Carrey got such a bad rep for the first one. I guess maybe that was before the movies, maybe, but I think he just fits this character so well, and he's just able to kind of be his own like quirky self. I think certain characters kind of allow you to do that to, you know, really explore where you want to take the character, right? And yeah, I just think he fit it perfectly. And the whole new mustache thing was just awesome. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say about this movie. I think I've touched on every point I wanted to now that I've actually been able to sit down and put my thoughts together on it. So, I did give this movie a 9 out of 10. I can't even remember what I gave the first one, and that was before I actually finally was able to set up my IMDb account and actually rate movies properly on there. So, yeah, it's going to be now that I'm doing that, I just do that right away. Once I've seen the movie, I just rate it because that's what I was thinking at the time, and I don't want my opinion to be swayed after, you know, really thinking about it. I just want a natural reaction to the movie, right? So, it makes sense to just do it that way. And I don't know. I think I gave the first one a 10 out of 10. I think I might have actually because it was just like the nostalgia factor of all these characters coming back, but I can't quite remember. Anyway, that is going to be the end for this review, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.